Hey guys, it's Evan the Cat King here with another video, and today is another total drama what if. This is what if Duncan didn't blow up Chris's mansion in Total Drama All-Stars. So in this what if, this is starting with you regotta be kidding me. Duncan was on his whole, I'm the bad guy. I promise you I'm still bad to the bone or whatever. And he ended up jumping like out of the challenge and going and blowing up Chris's like home that he stays in during the competition, which is the mansion. It's weird because it's the mansion from where the losers stayed in Total Drama Island. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So he just stays there now, and Duncan just blows it up. So in this universe, he's not going to do that. You gotta be kidding me, because this episode is where he blew up Chris's mansion, and luckily for us, we start off really easy on knowing what would happen. We know what would happen if he didn't blow it up in this episode, as it's literally pretty much shown to us that Cameron would go home because of Mal rigging the votes. That is what would have happened if Duncan didn't blow up the mansion. In fact, I'm pretty sure Chris brings up that, yeah, Cameron was voted out, and you would be going home if it wasn't for Duncan getting kicked out and going to prison. So we start things off pretty easy. Zeke and ye shall find. Now, what is going to happen in this episode instead of Cameron getting badly injured and going home? Well, we can probably stick with Gwen winning this challenge because I have no clue what else would happen. Now, I think that we will get a vote now, as no one is getting evacuated for stupid reasons. This means that the person going home would end up being Alejandro. He is just he's considered the biggest threat. He is the one that had a target on his back ever since the merge started, and ever since the whole game started. He's considered the biggest threat. Luckily, he is able to find the Mal CD and likely hide it. He finds it in this episode, so I'm not going back to watch this season just to figure this out. Pretty sure he hides it in the painting this episode. If not, I think we can just say that he did. Either way, I don't think it really matters that much. The CD doesn't really come back in this version. The obstacle course. Now I think we will actually get a bit of something to come from Duncan and Mal knowing each other from Juvie. As I think that things will actually happen with Duncan and that I think Duncan will now be completely convinced that Mike is 100% Mal. I think he's going to be convinced. I mean, he already knew that, oh, Mike is Mal. But at the same time, I'm sure he was he was already convinced of it, but I'm pretty sure now Alejandro, with the mix of what Alejandro said at his elimination about there being a greater evil or whatever it is that he says, and also I remember Izzy, I think he probably thinks back to Izzy in the one challenge suckers punched episode, the one where Sierra gets eliminated. He probably thinks back to that, and where Izzy asks who is Mal to Mal. Well, yeah, to Mal. So I'm pretty sure he is now confident that it is, in fact, Mal in control of Mike, and that is fake. That Mike is fake, and he's being Mal. Of course, he doesn't. I don't know how much he knows about Mike being but yeah, it's he knows that it's Mal, and I think that this leads to him doing whatever a lot in that. The original, Mal was running around to everybody telling them that, oh, Alejandro's been spreading lies and crap. I think Duncan kind of takes up that position. He's going to be running around to other people, telling people that about Mal and pointing out everything that he knows. And because, I mean, Mal wouldn't be doing this as he is not trying everything in his power to get Alejandro out in this one. In fact, in this version, ultimately, Duncan does bring all this stuff up, but it ends up being a moot point because Mal would end up winning the challenge. Because if he isn't focused on making sure that Alejandro loses, he would actually win. Alejandro was the only one ahead of him in the challenge, and the only reason he lets, Zoe win is so he can stop Alejandro from winning. So if Alejandro isn't there, he's winning the challenge. So that means that we get to the vote and Mal has immunity. But luckily, Duncan manages to actually convince people that Mal, maybe not 100% think that he's right with Mal being a thing, but it's on their minds now. It's like a thing where okay, Duncan might be telling the truth here and maybe we should keep an eye out on old Mikey Moo or whatever. And I think this leads to the vote being very much up in the air, as I believe, we'll get situations where certain people are targeting one person, but their alliance members are not, probably don't want to vote for who they want for. There are two examples of this. Courtney, I see targeting Zoe, as I think that Courtney, she fought with Mal being on her mind. She's been shown to be kind of jealous of Zoe throughout the season, pointing out that she's gonna need to go sooner rather than later, and because she seems very strong, and also she seems to act a bit jealous when Gwen and Zoe hang out. So I think Courtney would want Zoe out. But I don't know if Gwen would really want to vote for Zoe. Meanwhile, we have Mal, who probably ends up finding out somehow about Duncan going around telling people and talking about him and putting him in their minds. So he's likely voting, trying to take out Duncan. But I don't think Zoe would really want to take out Duncan. Zoe trusts Duncan, and Zoe has shown to be kind of friends with Duncan. And I think that leads to Zoe and Gwen going to Duncan, and those three decide to work together, and they end up voting together and taking out, unfortunately, Scott. I believe that Courtney and Scott vote for Mal, Mal votes for Duncan, and then these three all vote for Scott, making him go home. Sunday, Muddy Sunday. Now we have probably the most hated episode of Total Drama ever. Oh. People commenting. I'll have to read that after this video. Sunday, Buddy Sunday. Probably the most hated episode in all of Total Drama. At least the most hated of this season. Because there might be, stuff from, Pockettail Island that people hate more. I don't know, but... Yeah, But luckily, things seem to be looking up for this episode, as Courtney is not going to be ruined. Because that is just not, that likely won't happen here. I don't know if Courtney would make her, little, chart of, who she wants to take with her or not, but even if she does do that, it won't really affect anything, because even if Mal reveals it, it's not gonna really result in anything. Because I don't the main thing that kind of ruined her things with Scott and Gwen, in that Gwen thought that she would have been number one, but she wasn't, and Scott was annoyed because he had a freaking tail. Scott is gone, so she won't have, and then because of that, Gwen's gonna be number one, so I don't think anybody would really be angry about it. So it's not like Duncan's gonna really care about not being number one. It's not like Zoe didn't really care in the beginning anyways. So that leads to Courtney just not losing her friends in this situation. Now, now for the challenge, it is going to end in the same way. Zoe wins. It ends up being like eating race, meaning that and Zoe would win. I don't think Duncan's beating her, meaning that Zoe still gets immunity. And then we go to the vote, and this is where Mal ends up getting taken out here, because as much as Gwen and Courtney probably still don't like Duncan, I mean, let's face it, that I feel like they don't hate him to the point where they are going to just let Mal stick around, and I think that is fair to get to. And now, the Bold and the Bootyful. What the heck is that name? Now we have the double elimination episode, in which the person in last goes home, and the winner picks the second person to go. Now, Zoe is going to be winning this challenge. Zoe wins. And Gwen will still be eliminated because of some bullshit. Literally. So, Gwen is the first one out here. And then that leads to Zoe picking the other person to eliminate. And out of Courtney and Duncan, it seems to me that she would choose to get rid of Courtney, in my opinion. And then, in the end, in a scenario of if Duncan didn't blow up Chris's mansion, it seems to me, in my opinion, that the final two would have ended up being Zoe and Duncan. I think Zoe... I mean, she was shown to be, like, friends with Duncan. Those two, like, became friends. And I think giving the extra episodes, they'd become even closer friends based on the whole Mal thing. And then, ultimately, I think she would... And then her and Courtney, they were... Like, she liked Courtney, but, like, I don't think Courtney... She'd really appreciate Courtney that much. So I think that... Especially speaking that Courtney just never really treated her that well... leads me to believe that ultimately we get Zoe versus Duncan in the finale. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and leave a like, subscribe. I'm trying to reach 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Let's see if we can do it. I believe in us. We can do it. I believe. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!